Hello and welcome to the Quiver channel. It's 5:55 AM. I haven't been asleep yet. My brain is too wired. My brain is too... I had a talk with my sister last night. My sister loves me and I love her. We're very, very different people and we'll always butt heads. But that's no one's fault. Sometimes it's hard for me to look outside myself and see another person's point of view. And sometimes if a person doesn't know about my issues or has never really experienced that kind of thing themselves, it's hard for them to understand. So I don't blame my sister in any way for brothers and sisters butt heads. But she's my sister. She's the only family, actual family, that I have. Every part of my life is a coping strategy. And you look behind me and you see this arcade machine, you see, oh, he's got an arcade machine. Oh, that's wonderful. I can judge how bad I am by how much I have to use that. Every part of my life is a coping strategy. See, the Department of Work and Pensions in the UK, whether they admit it or not, everybody knows that their goal is to try and get as many people off disability as possible, to get them into work, to make them a functioning member of society. People like me are treated like criminals. We have to prove that we are. We have to prove what's wrong. We have to prove everything. And they're always questioning, always assessing, always checking, always wondering, are you another person who is just trying to take the thingy? Even my wife, who was officially diagnosed with terminal cancer, they don't like to call it terminal cancer, but if you've got a cancer that can't be cured, and it's going to kill you, it's fucking terminal cancer. You can't get away from that. Even Paola had to fight every couple of years, or multiple times, I had to fight for her to keep her on disability. You would think someone who had cancer, it would be easy. No, not easy. So imagine how fucked up someone has to be. How truly messed up someone has to be for not only the DWP assessors, not only are very sympathetic, and when you start listing all the things you're dealing with and all the things you're doing, and they're like, oh, you're dealing with that. Oh, they actually go from being someone who's supposed to be trying to get you off disability to try and help you to get further into disability. And not only that, but then they have a special designation. They have a special designation called severe disability. And when they judge you to be truly, truly, oh shit, you're fucked, aren't you? Then they activate that. And you can't, you don't, they have to decide that. Remember, these are the people who are trying to get people off disability. And so imagine how screwed someone is for them to actually thingy. People who haven't dealt with the disability system don't think it's easy, think it's easy to get on, easy to stay on, and that. No. So for someone to be actively put on that list and put on the smaller list of severe disability means that basically they're non-functioning in the world. Everything you see in this room is a coping strategy, is there to help me. Everything from the Schwarzenegger poster in the background is a coping strategy. It reminds me of a time when me and Paola were together. She brought me that. Every single thing you see in this picture is part of that coping strategy that keeps me going. It's always a fight. This screwdriver is a coping strategy. The click helps settle my mind in some way. This was given to me by a friend, an online friend who came to visit me. In fact, he's visited me many, many times now. He's my closest friend. This was given to me because he's also autistic, and he knew that this is like beautiful. It's wonderful. It's the sound bit. For some reason, that kind of sound really helps someone who's dealing with this kind of thing. I love that. And items like this, they're just the normal things that just can focus my brain when my brain's going in a bad direction. My brain goes into a bad direction all the time. The reason I wanted to wait until October to do Mum's funeral wake was because simply that's when the house officially becomes mine. That's when all these nightmares in my head that tell me that, oh, something bad could happen and you could lose the house. How can you put Mum's ashes in the backyard if they completely irrational, completely stupid, will not happen, but rationale and logic doesn't come into it. Waking up at 3 a.m. and believing 100% with a complete doom, certainty that something's going to go wrong. But I have to remember that this isn't just about me. This is about Mum. This is about laying her to rest. This is about things. So I'm going to step outside my comfort zone. We're going to deal with it sooner. One of the things I value about the people in my life, and this goes for my friends online and everything, is they tell me and they let me know when they think I'm having issues. it's going to be a big challenge. Big challenge having a wake at the house. It's going to be such a big challenge. I don't like funerals. My mum didn't like funerals. You see, the last real funeral that my mum went to that she actually was okay with was Dad's. And during that funeral, my mum didn't want to do a spread, didn't want to do didn't want people to come back to the house and have a thingy there, a proper doing that. She was exhausted. My mum had been fucking in hospital looking after Dad and dealing with all the things and that, and she just wanted it to end. And certain people at that fucking funeral bitched and whined because there wasn't a proper event going on afterwards. This is when my mum basically decided that when she had a funeral, she didn't want a church service, didn't want to be buried in the ground, didn't want any of that. She wanted the most low-key, zero event. And I've tried to stick to that. One of the reasons I've never buried Paola's ashes is because Paola and my mum were so close. The plan was that when my mum passed away, Paola would use some of the ashes to paint a picture of my mum. We had no idea that Paola would die before even the will is set up that way. It's like the will goes, everything goes to Jason, and if Jason dies, everything goes to Paola, and if Paola dies, everything goes to the grandchildren. That is just my mum. But she isn't just my mum. She's my sister's mum as well. And so I'm going to have to do something completely outside my comfort zone. I'm trying to hook onto things to do with it and trying to make it so it's possible to do. Saying that I was going to do the wake in October meant, it's 4 or 5 months away. It's far away. I don't have to think about it now. I can focus on dealing with all the other shit that I've got to deal with. But that was just another coping strategy, and it wasn't a good one. My mum deserves to be laid to rest earlier than that. She does. So I will set myself a goal. I will create new coping strategies to deal with of having people in my house, which scares the hell out of me. I don't mind my sister coming to my house. And I like Jeff. But everybody else is an unknown quantity. But I've got to balance that with the fact that I know my mum wanted to be ashes to be spread in the backyard. So it's not like we can go somewhere else and do it. It's got to be done here. The last resting place of my mum should be near the birds And the tree, it should be. That's what she wanted. That's what she always said. She was paranoid about being. She never wanted to be a corpse. She never wanted to be. The thought of worms eating her body really freaked her the fuck out. So my mum would. I think a barbecue's a good idea. My mum loved barbecue. Oh my god, my mum loved barbecue. We used to do. That's one of the things that we used to do with the fire pit in the backyard. I'm so lucky to have so many good memories with my mum. My sister will never be able to understand me. I don't understand me most of the time. Every single day is a challenge. I don't like change. Change is the worst thing for an autistic person, whether positive or negative. Doesn't matter whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. If it's change is bad. Having a change means new coping strategies have to be. Things get disturbed. Places get disturbed. I've had a lot of changes in my life recently. The biggest positive one is the mobility scooter and the ability to leave the house, something I never thought would ever happen. That's a lesson to you. For someone like me with my issues, who's been so limited of where he can go and that can be able to leave the house, you never know what's going to happen to you. I used to watch my security camera on the front of my house and watch people go past. Not creepy or anything. No, I used to watch because I used to think, you're so lucky. People walk past the front door and they're going from A to B and they can just walk. Are you going to the shop? Are you going to a job? And even now, when I leave the house, I have to do it in a set way to make sure everything is in place, to make sure everything is safe, to make sure that when I walk out that front door, I've got everything in every pocket, just in case. All of the imagined and real problems that could happen. I carry my address around in my pocket. Why? Because if I'm out there and have a heart attack, or I fall over dead, or I forget where I am, then some emergency services could come along and find me and know who I am. And I have to prepare for that every single time I leave the house. And I have to make sure I've got 2 phones on me. One is kept turned off, fully charged, in an emergency situation in case my main phone while I'm out there dies. I have to have the insurance so that they can come out and if my Quingo dies for some reason why about that, because I can't get off the Quingo. I can't get off that mobility scooter and leave it there. If I was to go somewhere and the Quingo stopped working, I would have to basically just sit there and wait for someone to come along. I'd have to call the equivalent of the RAC, which is I'm in for breakdowns. I have to make sure I have 2 internets with me when I'm out there. Yes, 2 internets. 2 fucking internets. I have my little MiFi, which is a 4G connection, and I have my connection through my phone. Both separate networks, because if one network goes down, I've got to make sure I've got the next network to move on to. That has to be with me all the time when I'm outside the house. When I first started leaving the house, I used to take my backpack, my pockets were full, and a massive backpack on the back of the Quingo, and its front basket was full of equipment. I could basically have lasted through a freaking apocalypse with what I had on the actual there. I had everything from a full first aid kit, emergency blankets. I'm better now. I've been able to slowly start leaving stuff at home. I don't need to have all those things with me all the time. It's so hard for people to understand the kind of restrictions my mind places on me. Everything at the time I leave the house, it's a win. It's a success. It's a battle I've won. And every single time I turn on my Discord while I'm out there and talk to my friends, that keeps me going. Or every time I manage to pick up a treat for the dog outside the house and bring it home, it's like Christmas, because the dogs have got used to it now. The dogs have got used to it. I know where Bertie's heart is. Now, when I come back in the house, Beryl, oh no, not Beryl, Zach goes completely crazy and wants love and hugs and will jump over me on the sofa. That's him. But Bertie knows that there's a good chance that inside my backpack is going to be a treat, is going to be a sweetie, is going to be I've taken to, if I go to town, I go to because I can't, there's a lot of shops I can't go into, or the doorway's too small. But there is lots of places I can go into, and there's a burger place that's in a little vendor out on the thingy every day. And so if I'm going up into the town, I try to pick up a beef burger for the dogs. So Bertie knows that, and so he doesn't come straight to me for a love. I know he goes straight to he smells the burger and he goes straight to my backpack, and that's his primary thing. I don't think leaving the house will ever get old to me, because it's a part of freedom I didn't think I'd ever have again. But my coping strategies do create a wall sometimes. And even with all the best coping strategies and all the therapy and all the help and all that, I always have to be aware that tunnel vision happens. And even though I'm absolute in my going to be true to my mum because I failed her, and yet I did fail her. Still bothers me, that does. Early before my mum had dementia, she had been looking after and helping with a friend who had dementia. And she sat me down one day in the kitchen and told me, if I get dementia, don't let me go into a home, don't let me hang on, end my life. And I remember promising her, sitting in the kitchen in our old house, before I'd met Paola, taking my mum's hand and promising her that I would kill her if she got dementia, so she didn't have to go through that. And I failed her. Of course, there's wonderful excuses. You got married, you got a wife that was disabled, you couldn't chance going to prison. Wonderful excuses. But I always will feel that I failed her in that. And I know it's not logical. I know it's not rational. It's not rational in any way, shape or form. It's not rational. But that doesn't stop your brain from replaying that conversation. And thinking about all the times I heard my mum scream in the hospital. All the times I heard my mum moan in the hospital that I could have avoided and stopped. It's what keeps me up at night sometimes. So yes, I will, after this, I will go over to my, in fact I'll turn it on right now. I'll let it kick in and boot up, and I'll stand, and after I've posted this, I'll go over to my arcade machine and I'll play a game from 1978, and it'll take me back there. It'll take me back to a time when things were simpler. And for the few minutes I've got my hands on that controllers, moving the joystick, I'm back in Tenby. I'm back in Tenby at the chip shop where I first played Space Invaders. And for a few minutes, my mind is settled, my mind is relaxed and taking a break. This was a long video. I'm hoping that this will give a bit of an insight on what it's like for people like me. People say, oh, I wish I could have an arcade machine type thing in my bedroom. I wish I could walk out the front door and down the street. This is Jason for the Weber channel. I hope you're all having a wonderful day.